Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 9th Economics, chapter 1, The Story of Village Palampur, part 3. The Story of Village Palampur. Students, in this part we will cover learning objectives, introduction, capital in agriculture, sale of surplus farm products, non-farm activities. The story of village Palampur. The learning objectives are to understand the importance of capital in agriculture, to classify the main occupations in a village into a farm and non-farm activities, to understand the concept of sale of surplus farm products, to know about the economic conditions of small, medium and large farmers. Capital in agriculture. Students, let us remind whatever the discussion we have done in the previous part. Students, in previous part we discussed that the farmers, they are doing farming as it is the main economic activity of the village Palampur. Most of the people, they are doing farming there. They started using new methods of farming, that is because of green revolution. They started using modern farming methods. They are also applying the technique of multiple cropping, that is to increase the production on the same piece of land that we have seen. We have also seen that as green revolution introduced in our country, farmers, they started using different machines in farming, chemical fertilizers, HYV seeds, irrigation facilities and different techniques to grow crops. As we have seen that increased the production in our country, green revolution made our country self-sufficient in food grains. On the other side, we have seen some drawbacks of the green revolution, that it gives some harmful effects to the environment. It is also responsible for the environmental degradation as water pollution. It is also decreasing the water level. So it is somehow, we can say it is harmful also. Students, we have also seen the condition of farm workers. Those are farm laborers. Those, they are not having their own land. They have to work on others' land, that is to get their livelihood. But after the arrival of green revolution, one more problem started with the farm workers. As big farmers, they started the use of machineries, and within the less time, easily they can grow more. So they started reducing the number of workers, and that created the problem of unemployment for the farm workers. All these conditions we discussed in previous part. Students, in this part we will see capital in agriculture. As we discussed in the factors of production, that some requirements are very much essential for the production of any product. We have also seen that land, labor, capital is equally important in the production. Capital is also foremost requirement for the production. As farming is a productive activity, so capital is also needed here. Students, with the introduction of the green revolution and the use of modern methods of farming, farmers realized their growing needs for funds. Broadly, there are two sources of funds: the savings or surplus generated by the farmers themselves and borrowing. Students, we have noted that in the village of Palampur, there are a large number of small landholders holding less than 1 acre of land. These holders are hand to mouth and often fail to generate surplus or savings for further investment. As their land holdings are less, so they are not getting the surplus amount of food grains, and it is very difficult for them to manage the capital for agriculture. Now, how do these smallholders manage funds for investment? Now, with the help of one case study, easily we can understand. Here is the story of Sitaram to reveal a real life situation. Sitaram inherited 1 acre of land from his father. Cross production is merely enough for the survival of his family of 4 members. After harvesting, he is seldom left with surplus money to buy inputs like seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, and pesticides for the next cropping season. He has no option but to borrow. Where does he go for funds? He knows that banks provide funds at nominal rates of interest, but his farmland size is so small that no bank would be willing to give Sitaram the funds for working capital because banks need security. His holding is too small to serve as a security for loans. The forces this forces Sitaram to go to the local moneylenders or the big farmers. He has to agree to the following conditions of borrowing: high rate of interest 3 to 4 times what the bank charges, working on the fields of his landers during the peak seasons of sowing and harvesting when labor is not easily available. Third condition was selling his crop to the moneylender at rates much lower than the market rates. Net consequence of all these conditions is that Sitaram continued to reel in poverty. Farming is his occupation, but less as an enterprise and more as a means of subsistence. Students, here with the help of this story, we can understand the situation of small farmers as it is very difficult for them to manage the capital for farming because when they need the funds, it will be very difficult to arrange. They do not go to banks because already they are knowing that they are facing the lack of security and bank will not provide them loans without the security. They are having less resources, less land. That's why forcefully they have to go to the money lenders or big farmers, traders in the village, that is to get money. And the interest rate is also very high there, but they have to take the money from them. But the repayment of the money, that is the loan, is very difficult. It is very painful. Like Sitaram, the small and marginal farmers get into the vicious circle of debt from which they are never able to get out. Sometimes even the succeeding generation of such farmers are not able to pay off these debts. Students, one line is related to their condition that they born in debt, they live in debt, and they die in debt. That is a true line for the farmers. Sometimes whatever the loan they take, it is very difficult to repay, and some of the farmers, those they are facing this situation, forcefully they have to commit suicide. Many cases we have seen where farmers are committing suicide. So student, this is the condition of small farmers. Most small farmers have to borrow money from large farmers or the village money lenders or traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loan is very high. They are put to great distress to repay the loan. Students, we have seen the condition that the farmers, they have to face a lot of problem. They are facing difficulty in arranging the capital for farming. In sharp contrast to the plight of small and marginal farmers, the medium and big farmers do not face similar problems in obtaining capital. This is largely because they often generate saving or surplus for further investment. Also, they are able to obtain credit from big and established financial institutions at low rates of interest. This is primarily because they can provide for all the terms and conditions of such institutions with regard to security and proper documents. Students, this tells us that the large farmers or the big farmers, it is easy for them to manage the capital for farming. As surplus they are getting, they can sell it, they can save the money in the banks, and they can use that money for the next harvest. But this condition is not with the small farmers, as their production is less, so they are not getting the surplus amount, only they get to survive, that is only for the consumption they are getting. So it is different, the situations are different of the small and large farmers. Sale of surplus farm products. Students, as farmers are growing more after the green revolution, large farmers or big farmers, they are able to grow more. That is the surplus amount they are growing. Let us see what is surplus. Surplus is the excessive amount of production produced by farmers. Farmers' excessive production is sold in the market. The profit is gained. This profit is called surplus. The farmers use the surplus as capital for the next harvest. Student, surplus is the extra amount which is grown by the farmers here, and that surplus they sell in the market and get the profit. But it is only with the big farmers, they are able to grow surplus amount of food grains in their farming lands. Now what they do with that surplus? Sale of surplus farm products. After the harvesting season is over, each and every farmer gets busy in sale of his surplus produce. The small farmers producing on their small plots of land have little surplus produce to sell in the markets. Now let us see here what is sale of surplus farm products. The part of the harvest which is kept for selling is called as sale of surplus farm products. Once the farming process gets completed and the crops are harvested, the farmers segregate the obtained share into two parts. One part of the harvest is kept by himself for his family uses, whereas the other part is taken to the market for selling. Student, as the harvesting season is over, after that each and every farmer gets busy in sale of his surplus produce. As we discussed that small farmers produce less because their plots are small. A greater part of their produce is kept aside for their own consumption. But what about the medium and big farmers? It is the medium and big farmers with sufficiently large production who earn well from sale or surplus. A substantial produce on such farmers is taken to the market for sale. This produce is bought in bulk quantities by traders who then sell it in the quantities to shopkeepers, in small quantity to shopkeepers spread over large areas in many towns and cities. Now students, big farmers, they are able to grow more and surplus amount they sell in the market. What they do that to the traders, they sell their products. This produce is bought in bulk quantities by traders who then sell it in small quantities to shopkeepers spread over large areas in many towns and cities. The traders, they sell it again to the shopkeepers, and shopkeepers spread over large area in many towns and cities. From these shopkeepers, the agricultural produce is then produced by households who are the final consumers. This is how food travels before being finally produced by ultimate consumers. So students, here we have seen as farmers are growing more, they are selling it, and as a consumer we are getting that product. After the sale of their surplus production, the medium and big farmers earn good returns. These earnings are either kept away as savings or they are again invested in the farms in the form of capital. This capital could be used to purchase raw materials, which in the case of agriculture would be HIV seeds, good fertilizers, manures, pesticides, etc. They use that money to arrange the capital for the next harvest, to meet other monetary expenses. This constitutes the working capital of a farmer. A farmer can also invest in his farm by way of increasing the fixed capital, like buying a new tractor or a thresher through earning after the sale of his produce and saving. Students, as they are getting more by selling the surplus, that money they utilize to arrange the capital for the next harvest. They want to grow more and more. For that, they are purchasing machineries also like tractors, threshers, so that they can increase the production of them and increase their profit. Thus, the medium and large farmers are able to arrange for all their capital requirements from earnings of their surplus produce and savings. The large and medium farmers also benefit from their earnings and savings by lending to small farmers and agricultural laborers. As we have seen that small farmers are going to the money lenders or big farmers, so they are also source of loans for the small farmers. They are also releasing money to them, they are giving money to them on interest. This too gets them good returns as the large farmers lend at very high rates of interest. So students, as big farmers, they are getting more benefit. They are getting from the food grains by selling, income they are getting, and on the other side they are getting interest from the small farmers by lending money to them. Now let us see one case study, that is to make it clear. Govardhan Das, a big farmer in Palampur, generates a surplus produce of 480 quintals of rice from his large farm, measuring over 6 hectares. Selling it, he generates a good income. He keeps a part of his income in the bank as a recurring deposit. He can comfortably meet all his farm expenses and capital requirements. He even lends some of his income to small farmers like Mohit and Karan to earn interest income. Using his savings, Govardhan Das has brought quite a number of buffaloes and cows. He hopes to supplement this income from crop farming with income from dairy farming. Starting a dairy farm would engage Govardhan in a non-farm activity. As by this case study, we come to know that big farmer Govardhan Das, he gets profit buy the farm products. By selling it, a good amount he got, and he sold that and got the profit. Along with that, he want to increase his income by doing the non-farm activities. So he also started purchasing buffaloes, cows, and started a dairy farm. That is to get more profit by doing non-farm activities. Non-farm activities. Now students, people, as in the beginning of the chapter we have seen, the main activity of the people of Palampur is farming, but along with that we have seen some people, they do non-farm activities also. Let us see what is non-farm activities. Non-farm activities are those activities which do not include farming as a source of income. These include construction, manufacturing, trade, communication, etc. These are as efficient as farming and provide livelihood to a large population in rural parts of the country. So students, in this way, it is clear to us that it is other than the farming. This activity, non-farm activity, is other than the farm activity, in that people, they do different kinds of activity like construction, manufacturing, trade, students, comma is missed here, communication, etc. So it is done by the farmers along with the farming, that is to get the profit. Let us see what kind of non-farm activities are taking place in Palampur. Now students, here in this flow chart, it is shown that what kind of farm activities are taking place in Palampur. Dairy farming is common activity in many families of Palampur. People feed their buffaloes various kinds of grass and the jowar bajra that grow during the rainy season. The milk sold in Raiganj, the nearby village. There are collection cum chilling centers of Raiganj, from where the milk is transported to faraway towns and cities, as they collect the milk and they sell it in the cities. Next is small scale manufacturing. Small scale manufacturing, less than 50 people are engaged in manufacturing in Palampur. Manufacturing in Palampur involves very simple production methods, and are done on a small scale. That also we have seen, few people are doing small scale manufacturing or in the fields with the help of family members. Now next is shopkeeping. Some people are also doing shopkeeping. Students, as once we will recall that small scale manufacturing is taking place in village Palampur, but mostly it is on small scale, as they are carried out mostly at homes or in the fields with the help of family members. As it is on small scale, it is not on the large scale. At homes people, they are doing it. Now next is shopkeeping. Very few people are engaged in trades in Palampur. The traders are shopkeepers who buy various goods from wholesale market in cities and sell them in the village. There are small general stores in the village where variety of household articles such as rice, wheat, sugar, toothpaste, etc. are sold. One can also find open small shops selling eatables. Many open shops are there, those they are selling vegetables and other commodities. Next is transport. Students, people engaged in transport services, they are rickshaw pullers, tangawala, bus, jeep, tractor, truck drivers, etc. They are running different kind of vehicles in Palampur. They carry people and goods from one place to another, and in return they get paid for it. Now students, these are some non-farm activities. Those are taking place in Palampur. In this way, we have seen in most, same as it is in Palampur, in most villages in India, non-farm activities account for a very small percentage of the overall production activity. As it is not done by large population in the village, few people they are doing it. For greater development of the village, there has to be an upsurge in the non-farm production activities. The non-farm activities require little land but might need more capital investment. Often loans are needed for that. For such loans, rate of interest should be low so as to enable more people to take up non-farm activities. The need of the hour is to spread banking in the rural areas, which unfortunately is not happening. Students, as non-farm activities are also giving income to the people, so it should be encouraged. When people they want to do non-farm activities, then capital is required for that. But the people, those they live in rural areas, they face the problem of capital. Because of that, they are not able to do non-farm activities. So it is the responsibility of the government to provide them cheap loans so that they can take loan and they can start small businesses in the village, and it should be accessible and affordable, and the third requirement is available for them. Then they will be able to do more non-farm activities in the village. So students, here we have seen that as farming is important, same as non-farm activities are also important for the farmers. Now test your progress. After the explanation, just try to give the answers of these questions. That is to check your understanding. Modern farming methods require more inputs which are manufactured in the industry. Do you agree? Capital is basic need in agriculture. How is it arranged by Indian farmers? What are non-farm activities? Give few examples. How can these lead to economic development in rural areas? How do medium and large farmers obtain capital for farming? How is it different from the small farmers? So students, I hope you understood, and it will be easy for you to give the answers of these questions. This is the last part of this chapter. Thank you.